Khemani of Edelweiss joins us now. Well, Vikas, well, plainly the question for the market is, does it go towards 8,000 at the open or does it go towards 7,900 in the opening?
I think market will be positive because I think they will, in my opinion, they will give more weight to the reforms announcement than really the exit polls. As I said, the exit polls doesn't mean still the real results. So I think Bihar results, in my opinion, will be, since they are not very clear, we will wait for the real outcome on Sunday and then accordingly they react on that. And also my view is that even if, let us say, Bihar results were to come slightly adverse, I don't think there's a big downside in the markets, because I think still federal mandate is there till 2019 and there might be temporary sort of reaction of 2-3% which can't be ruled out, but I don't think any investor will be really disturbed with the fact that economic growth will not happen. And on the top of it, government has also displayed a reformist agenda with these couple of act of last 2 days, bankruptcy code and the Uday. So I think that some set up that there will be a lot more positive environment than the really negative environment.
Okay, so the markets to focus more on the positive reform agenda of the government rather than the Bihar elections. That point is well taken. But the markets, do you think the markets over discounted the NDA's defeat yesterday? Did it feed a landslide for the JDU? So today, do you think that the markets will actually move up much higher?
I don't think the Bihar results are such a big outcome. Probably if I were to assign some more weightage to a fall of today, I think I would do more to the Fed commentary than really the Bihar result outcome, because I think that is probably a lot more impactful event as far as the markets are concerned than Bihar outcome, and that is a lot more global. So I really don't think Bihar outcome is such a big deal, and I have said multiple times that Bihar outcome will have to, I mean, it will pass in 2 days. Probably market will forget, and I don't think this government is going to change its business based on the Bihar outcome.
Okay, well, actually, Vikas, you speak to a lot of FIIs. What do you think they will do? Will they pull out a bit, fearing that reforms will slow down if, NDA loses?
Again, I think one event does not make or mar anything. So according to me, obviously people might put some question mark about whether they will carry out or not. And I think that will get, sort of reinforcement only if government displays that they are continuing their reformist agenda. So a lot will depend on how government reacts post any sort of adverse outcome. So I think it will not, I don't think markets will prejudge and say that government has lost their reform agenda, and government has also done a little bit of positive in terms of reinforcing that. So and in my opinion, most of the foreign investors are looking Indian markets from a very, very long-term perspective. Short-term little bit correction again might happen, but I think we see a lot more positivity towards Indian economy and investments. Economy is reviving. It just might be getting delayed, and these kind of reforms only sort of reinforces the faith.
So that's a positive view coming in. Let's discuss the other positive trigger that we got yesterday, which was the fact that now 75% of DISCOM debt will be taken over by state governments in that new DISCOM reform package. Do you recommend a buy on any of this set of sectors involved, either the PSU banks or the power companies or any other?
See, I think one thing is very clear, that power stocks would become a lot more interesting, because power sector was mired under a lot of issues. One side you had a coal issue, other side you have realization of your sales issue, because I think health of the SEBs were not good, they were not able to sell power. So I think suddenly the power sector will start becoming a lot more interesting. Obviously a lot depends on how they implement and the details of execution, but I think the faith in the power, if they implement it, faith in the power sector will come back. And I think some of the beaten down sector stocks and all will, I think, in my opinion, start getting revived. So I think it also displays government's clear agenda and intent to sort of address this sector. So I think that, plus I think some of the banks and NBFCs who had significant exposure towards sector will also be viewed positively. I think somewhat perceived stress or stress would be sort of taken away. So I think definitely it is positive, and I think power sector, NBFC, banks and stocks like Power Finance, REC will definitely, in my opinion, will start seen in a very different way.
Okay, because let me put it this way. If the final results on Sunday are exactly as the exit polls, that is a small victory for the JDU, then will the market sell off?
So I think, again, I think if in case of any adverse NDA outcome, I think, market might react a little bit negative, maybe 1%, 2%. I mean, extent will always depend on, how it is, sort of what kind of numbers and all those things come about. But I think, in my opinion, it is not going to be very wide. So I think still NDA, in my opinion, will win. But even if it were to be adverse, I think you will see maybe 2 to 3% maximum kind of downside. And once it settles down, market will recover. And, I'm sure government will also get into action to display their agenda, credibility in many more ways. And they will also have a plan to sort of communicate back to that we mean development. And I think maybe, in fact, I see it in a positive light that this will force government to bring back their development agenda, which we are seeing a little bit of noise around other stuff of late. So I think that will maybe might force BJP to put their house in order and say, let's go out and execute on what we sort of promised and improve their chance in the next sort of elections. So I think I see either way, I may be seeing more positive side of this than really negative side.
Right, Vikas. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for this early morning chat with us and for giving us those positive cues.